Well, there you have it. Uganda has yet recorded cases of coronavirus, although a number of people who have traveled to China have been isolated. The government says the steps need to be taken to keep the virus at bay. Tonight, as the number of suspected coronavirus cases grows around the world, we speak to a mother whose daughter is stuck in China, in Wuhan. But first, let's take a listen to this audio.
Hello, my name is Ruth, a Ugandan citizen currently studying in Wuhan. I want to call out to the government and whoever it might concern. We need your help right now. Financial assistance will not be of much help as a few shops are open. They are not well stocked and there's really no mode of transport for us to get there. There is no way to get to the hospital in case any of our friends get any sickness or anything. The number of people infected is increasing daily. Right now we are all fine and pray we don't get infected. Before anyone gets infected, please help evacuate us. We are starving and we are frustrated. The Chinese government right now can only do so much for its citizens. The situation is grave. Please let us be a priority to our governments right now. All North African countries have partnered and evacuated their citizens. We call on the East African government to come together and help us. Our families are in distress. They are not sleeping. Please help us.
That is an audio from Joe and Ruth Oyet, and today we're glad to have, good to have you, Dr. Cecilia Atim Oyet, and you happen to be the mother of Joan. I want to understand, your daughter is a student in Wuhan, and I would love to know, together with the nation, how is she faring, and is she on her own wherever she is today?
My daughter Joanna is in one of the universities in Wuhan, and they are broken off from school.
Okay.
Unfortunately for her, she's in an apartment with a few friends, but other students are on their own, and they cannot really communicate face to face with any other person. Now, about faring, from the time Wuhan city was shut down, as you heard from her audio, they are not able to access many facilities. There's no means of transport even to the places where they can get the shops, where they can get the facilities they need. And when they get out, the stocks are low and they have to line up still in the midst of the people where they can also get infection.
I understand that they say money is not an issue, understandably. So how are you and the family helping her in this kind of situation?
Of course, before the city was shut down, it was obvious that as parents we continued to assist them with financial help. But since the lockup, they said that one has not been easy. What we had advised them just before the lockdown, we advised them to do some stocking. So what they tell us is that they have been rationing, but it's not only food, but even other things like the gloves that they need and the masks, they are also in scarcity. And the issue of transport, and they are also not allowed by the authorities to move out freely. They go out very rarely. And of course, apart from the issue of the physical items they need, there's the psychological stress. For the last 3 days, it has been tough for them, and we have formed a group of parents, and we had a meeting. We wanted to find out the opinion of these students, because they also have a group. They have a group, and they sent for us a list of 64. They could be more, but they sent us a list of 64 students, and they're in touch with one another. And their general consensus is that they need to be evacuated because the stress is so much. And the problem may not be now just the coronavirus.
Have you tried to make efforts to have them come back home? Have you tried to engage some government agencies and the likes?
Well, as the group of parents, some have individually, and the students have also given us the information that they tried to contact the embassy in Beijing, but they were turned down because they said they could not be allowed to be evacuated because they had opportunities to be evacuated with other nationals like the British and the French also took out their citizens. But when the students approached them, they said they could not allow them to be evacuated together with their citizens because the government had not given an okay.
Dr. Cecilia, right there, what could be your last word to the powers that be now that you have all that kind of information gathered?
My word to the government, which includes the people of Uganda, is that we need to treasure those our children. They grew up in the times when we were talking about patriotism, and Uganda is known as one of the most friendly countries world over. And I think that friendliness should be seen in how we treat our citizens. So my appeal is that first of all, as the people of Uganda and as the government, we should accept that these children and other citizens who could be locked up there should be evacuated. And the other appeal to the government is, just like my daughter Rose said, the West African countries, a number of them came together and they evacuated their students, which made it cheaper. So I would appeal to the governments of the East African community also to come together. These children are in touch with the Tanzanians, they're in touch with the Kenyans who are also locked up there, and other nationalities, even the Rwandese. If they could come together, then it would be easier and maybe cheaper and maybe a stronger negotiation power to have these students evacuated in time.
Okay. Thank you so much. That is Dr. Cecilia Oyetwa, happens to be a mother of one of the students currently in China. Moving on, Ministry of Health